Malaysia is one of the best value, wonderful places to go and get a residency if you're looking for someplace in Southeast Asia or frankly, anywhere in the world. Of all the places that I've been, I have to say that the quality of life per dollar spent is the best in Malaysia. And there's, a variety of different places. You can go to Penang, you can go to Langkawi, you can go to some of the other areas, you can go to Kuala Lumpur. I personally like Kuala Lumpur quite a lot. It is a place that has good healthcare. If you're looking for good healthcare options, it offers, you can debate the weather maybe a little bit. Some people find it a little bit humid, but it's nice and consistent all year round, although it is a little bit rainy, and it is filled with wonderful people. So today I'm going to talk to you about the 5 ways that we help people to get residency in Malaysia. And if you're at all interested, they will be kind of as we go through here. You can you can take some notes and check it out. If you want help with that, you can reach out to us, and we're happy to help you. So normally I try and do these completely by memory, but I'm probably going to miss something if I do that. So I've got myself some notes. Now, a quick note: this is part of a larger series that we're doing. We have a guide that we've produced for you. So if you want to follow along in the guide and look at places, this is one of 10 places that we mention that is a place that you can go and you can have a higher quality of life with lower cost, including, in this particular case, potentially very favorable taxes, but also just generally lower cost of living. And so you can download that guide below in the link in the description or in the first comment. It's totally free, and it goes through a bunch of other places as well. So if you're interested in checking out, like, okay, I'm interested in Malaysia, but maybe I'm interested in some other places, go and check out that guide and follow along as we're doing that. We include information about residency stuff, about tax, about some of the places you might want to live in the country, etc. So all nice and helpful for you. Okay, so just quickly, what are some of the benefits of living in Malaysia? So first of all, you can have quite a favorable tax policy. Typically no capital gains, no tax on foreign income. The definition of foreign income is a little bit nuanced. If you're interested in talking about that, you can always book a call with us. I can take you through kind of the tax planning side of it. Very frequently, you should be able to end up with very, very highly optimized tax living in Malaysia. It depends a little bit on your circumstances, and that's why I say you can reach out, book a call, you can send a message through our website. Either of these ways to get in touch is totally fine, but potentially you can have very low, like single digits to potentially in some cases 0, depending on what's going on. So that's super cool. The next thing is, as I said, the quality of life is great. What you can buy in terms of apartments and houses, etc., like what you get for the money is great. If you're interested in having household staff, that's great. If you're interested in access to good medical, that's good. There's decent education, etc. And as I said, like a friendly culture. It's also like quite well connected. So yeah, I'm like a really big fan. I was spending winters there back a while ago, and actually prior to moving to Dubai, I had considered making it kind of like my main place to go and live. So there's always trade-offs. There's no perfect place for anyone, but this being said, it's a place that you should definitely have on your list. So what are the options? So the first option that we're talking about in terms of getting residency is a digital nomad visa. Now, digital nomad visa, what is the disadvantage? It's 1 year, right? So if you're actually planning on going and moving and living in Malaysia and having it as a place that you settle long-term, probably not the best option for you. If you're thinking, hey, I'm going to go there and be there for a few months and then bounce around the area, maybe I go spend some time in Bali, I can get a digital nomad visa there. Maybe I want to go to Philippines, Vietnam, Thailand, Singapore, whatever, Cambodia, Laos, India, Sri Lanka, whatever, that whole area, or even just say, hey, you're going to spend 4 or 5 months in that area, and then you're going to move to Latin America. Cool. Digital nomad visa is good for you. It will take about a month to get approval. It is a $24,000 per year income, so $2,000 per month. You have to show 3 months of income history. It's a fairly straightforward to get deal. It does need to be proof of remote work, and you need to have that work in certain categories. So assuming that you can kind of meet all those things, not too bad, and kind of works for you. Most of our clients, if you're actually going to move there, it's not really the way that they go. But this being said, if you're just traveling around, it's cool. Option number 2 is the MTEP program. So for some reason, not that many people seem to know about this. It is the Malaysia Tech Entrepreneur Program. I think it's like pretty good for the right people. So you need to have a business in the right category. You need to either have history in business or you're starting a new business in the space. Now, it is worth understanding that if you have the history, you have to kind of demonstrate previous 2 years, the advantages of this. So if you're a new entrepreneur, okay, you get a 1-year visa. It's like not that exciting. If you have history, you can get a 5-year visa, or if you're an investor, you can get a 5-year visa, or if you are a C-suite executive in a targeted business earning 180,000 Malaysian ringgit per year or greater, then you can also get a 5-year visa. Now, something to note about this just quickly, I'm going to be referring to Malaysian ringgits a bunch in terms of cost. And so approximately, it's slightly better than this, but approximately it's a 4-to-1 ratio between Malaysian ringgit to dollars. So if I say 180,000 Malaysian ringgit, you can figure out pretty quickly, okay, that's about 45,000 US dollars, a little bit less, but in that ballpark. And so that gives you a little bit of a sense. And so we'll be going through a bunch of the figures will be in Malaysian ringgit. Some of them will be in dollars, but just be aware the cost is typically Malaysian ringgit. Yeah, so, it's a little bit more bureaucratic of a, it's not, the process is actually fairly simple in the sense that you have a nice online portal and things like that, but like there's more criteria to qualify for this. And so it's not the most popular thing that we would have clients do, but in certain cases it can work out. Again, like I said, if you're like wondering, hey, what's for me? Do I even want to go here? Maybe I should be in Thailand instead, or Bali or somewhere else. Like, reach out to us. You can book a call with me. Happy to go through with you your specific situation, identifying all the different pieces that fit into kind of the ultimate strategy for you, and give you advice accordingly. So let's continue. The next one, by the way, I'm deliberately kind of skipping over some of the details. There's like some little nuances as I go through here, but we'll be here all day if I go through and tell all the little pieces. And some of the pieces are changing with new stuff, so I'm trying to make it a little bit more timeless as a video. So if you're interested, again, feel free to send us a message to our website. We're happy to help you as we go through. So the next one is a director's visa. This is something we do pretty often for clients. Is we will go through and we will help them to set up a company, become a director of the company. Based on being a director of the company, get a visa. It is a 2-year visa. It is, in a lot of cases, somebody who maybe couldn't apply or qualify for another visa. This one tends to work pretty well. It also works really well when we're doing tax planning for you. You may be in a situation where some of the other visas, we'll touch on in a second, don't allow you to work locally, and there's kind of some constraints. Here, you can end up often in a situation where it's very tax friendly. Now, what you have to do is you have to be paid 10,000 Malaysian ringgit per month, so 2.5K. You will be taxed as local income on that. It's a graduated rate, so you're paying a few $100s a month in terms of tax. Not a big deal. And then your income over and above that, usually we can streamline to very, very low. So not entirely bad at all. Usually you want to have some sort of business anyway, and so it kind of fits. It's a 2-year visa as opposed to a 1-year visa with some of these. It's much less hassle to qualify for versus something like MTEP. And so that's kind of worth noting. And it's pretty broadly available to most people. So in that regard, quite attractive. So the next is probably the most common, well-known visa in Malaysia, which is MM2H. Okay. Now, MM2H, what happened was historically it was a pretty good program, but the processing time got really long. Then they scrapped it, shut it down, and they brought it back. And we did a video on it a number of years ago. It was quite unpopular because they had made it a lot more difficult to qualify for in terms of proof of income, like the level of income that you had, stuff like this. And so to this day, they've gone and they've kind of improved it, streamlined it a bit. And so nowadays you have to be 25 years old in most cases. So there's 4 categories. They have a platinum, gold, silver, and then there's one for the special economic zone thing. So the criteria vary depending on which of those you get. In the best case, in terms of most permissive, it's a 20-year visa. So you're like, well, that's friggin' great, right? 20 years is pretty free, pretty awesome. In the shortest, it's 5 years, and it just varies depending on these. Now, what you have to do to qualify, so as I said, you have to be 25 or 21 in the case of the special economic zone one. Fewer people, I would say, would go for that, but it's an option. So 25 years old. You need to do a fixed deposit in the bank. That fixed deposit ranges from 150 to $1 million. Okay, so just depending on which category you're in, the lowest is 150K. That has to be there in the first year, and then afterwards you can typically withdraw half. Okay, So that's how this works. This is dollars, by the way. Noteworthy that it's dollars. And that'll come relevant in another one, which is, I would say one of the more attractive options that we've helped people with. Notably, you have to buy property. Now, in all of them except for the special economic zone one, you have 12 months after the application to go for that property. And the value of that property ranges from 600,000 Malaysian ringgit, so approximately 150,000 US dollars, to 2 million Malaysian ringgit, so approximately 500,000 US dollars. And just, it's dependent. The longer your visa you basically want, the more money you put out. That's basically the way it goes. On the top one, that platinum one, you have to pay a 200,000 Malaysian ringgit fee. So this is kind of on top of other fees, $50,000 approximately. The other ones are super low fees, so not a big deal. Basically just a few thousand Malaysian ringgit. Let's see here. You have a 90-day minimum stay requirement in the country per year on that. So you can't just kind of be out of the country all year round. It's that's for if you're below age 50. So a bunch of these requirements, if you're over age 50 on MM2H, it's a little bit better. If you're under age 50, less good. And so, yeah, that's the deal there. Now, what happened was, first of all, when they shut down MM2H, a lot of people were still wanting to get in. And then when they had this new MM2H, it was kind of, people were like, ooh, it's quite a bit of money. I don't necessarily want to put out there, maybe income requirements, etc. And so there's a province in Malaysia called Sarawak. And so Sarawak offers their own MM2H. And in their MM2H, you need to have 10,000 Malaysian ringgit per month of foreign income demonstrated. So, okay, about $2,500 per month. In this case, you do not need to buy property, so that's a notable benefit. You do have to do a fixed deposit of the 500,000 Malaysian ringgit in that case, and the minimum age you're talking about is 35, and you have to spend 30 days per year in Sarawak. So most people, very clearly, not very clearly, but most people, I would say that's a disadvantage to them. It's not really where they want to be. I don't typically find people being like, hey, I'm like wanting to go to Sarawak. This is it. No, not so much. So most people are going to want to live in, I would say Kuala Lumpur is heavy, sometimes Langkawi, Penang, a few other places as well, but those would be kind of some of the dominant places that I see people being interested to live. And so, can you go and spend 30 days there? Yeah, it's like, of course, not the biggest deal in the world. But it is a little bit of an inconvenience, just like being forced into buying property is an inconvenience. And so that brings us to our final type of residency permit in Malaysia. And this is what's called the PVIP program. Okay, so the PVIP program is a 20-year program. It has a 1 million Malaysian ringgit fixed deposit. So you need to put in into the bank 1 million Malaysian ringgit. 50% needs to be there for the first, or all of it needs to be there for the first year. Then you can withdraw. I should note, the withdrawals are only for use on like living expenses, et cetera, like kind of certain key categories of spending in Malaysia. But that being said, you're going to spend money anyway, so hey, not such a big deal. There's a 200,000 Malaysian ringgit fee for that one, so that's like one of the big things. But there's no minimum stay requirement, there's no property purchase required, there's no age requirement, and so that's pretty good. And then the last thing is you need to demonstrate 40,000 Malaysian ringgit per month, so approximately $10,000 per month of foreign income. Okay, so of these, what would I say? I would say that the most common ones that we're helping people with are PVIP or this director's visa. Those are kind of the most common baskets that people would tend to fall into. There are definitely people who do MM2H, some who do Sarawak MM2H. There's people who do all of them, right? But I think just in terms of the freedom that you get, these two are the most common kind of baskets that we put in. I haven't gone through some of the specific details in terms of what happens with kind of a lot of them, say under MM2H, you can bring foreign helpers, you can bring dependents, you can bring parents over a certain age, stuff like this. So, you have a pretty broad range of ability to bring other people in with you. And so that's good. You can do that, say, on a director's visa. We've had people move and bring their whole family and all this. So, that's perfectly fine. But there are some broader allowances in terms of bringing family, thinking about like foreign dependents, et cetera, housekeepers, et cetera, under some of these others. So that's something worth considering. It is worth being aware that basically you're unlikely to get permanent residence in Malaysia. So, having that 20-year permit is kind of appealing, hence something like the PVIP. You will almost certainly not get citizenship. And for most people, they wouldn't really want citizenship. Okay. And the reason for that is because if you get citizenship, you can't have dual citizenships. You have to give up your other passport. Now, maybe you think like, hey, Malaysian passport is so much better. In a few cases, that might be true. But it's a medium tier passport. It's not the greatest in the world. So yeah, these are some of the details. Certainly, if you're interested, please, download the little brochure we've got there and feel free to reach out to us. If you want help with international tax planning, if you want to consider other places, etc., I am always available for you, or not always available. You can go to the link and you can find a time that works to book my calendar, and we can have a conversation that is specifically resolving around you. And then our team is able to help you facilitate the process of getting residencies, of getting set up with companies, of opening bank accounts, etc. So I hope that helps. Let me know if you need anything. Put it in the comments below, and I will see you on the next video.